Hello, I'm Ivan Schumann. My guest this morning is Chaplain Kassel of the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. He will be sharing with us an opportunity for people who are interested in becoming chaplains through the IMPD, this and more when Religion in the News continues.
When important stories break.
We begin. Welcome back. My guest this morning is Chaplain Kassel of the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. Good morning, Chaplain.
Good morning, Ivan.
And thank you for being on our show.
I'm pleased to be here.
Chaplain, you're going to be sharing with us a new program that the IMPD is putting forward for people that are interested in becoming chaplains, correct? Now, can you share with our audience to start off with what does it mean to be a chaplain for the IMPD?
Well, first of all, we're chaplains with IMPD are not involved with working with inmates in the jail. Mm-hmm. That's through the Marion County Sheriff's Department. Our chaplains deal out on the road with homicides, suicides, fatal traffic accidents, death notifications to family members, helping them with questions that they have about the investigation procedure, dealing with those persons at the site where this may have occurred. Mm-hmm. And we're looking for interested clergy who may want to work with us when the need arises at these kind of scenes.
Okay. Now, can you share with our audience, what would they be able to see and feel? I know it's very serious issues like deaths and so forth with family issues. Can you share with our audience a little bit more about that?
When a chaplain is called to a scene because of a death, our first responsibility is to deal with our officers at the scene to make sure that they're dealing with all the trauma that they see every day, dealing with those in healthy ways. Mm-hmm. We also work with the public, with the families at the scene and with their extended family and perhaps some neighbors to help them understand what the investigation is going to take place during the course of the next hour or two, what's going to happen to their loved one, and what they should do in the next few hours to continue to gather additional support for themselves. It is traumatic to come upon a scene where somebody has died, especially in a tragic, violent death.
Now, what are the biggest challenges?
Biggest challenges are sometimes, believe it or not, getting through the traffic to be able to get to the scene.
Wow.
But also just, you never know what's going to take place. Sometimes there could be a scene where it's still potentially dangerous to people in the neighborhood because there may be somebody still out, an active shooter with a gun. Mm-hmm. Other times you're coming upon a scene where a police action shooting is taking place in the event of tracking down bank robbers or somebody who's fled the scene, or a homicide. Officers are still looking for them, and they could return. It could be dangerous.
Right. Now, you have a new program. It's called Community Clergy Day, correct? And can you share with our audience what that day is all about?
The Community Clergy Program is designed to assist chaplains and commanders at the scene, particularly in events of homicides or police action shootings. We're looking for interested clergy who are active in the community, in the various districts in which they work, their ministry, to come out when they're invited to help the chaplain and the commander deal with crowd control, invite people in the neighborhood that are there to try to stay calm, to do what they can to assist them with the crowd at the scene that are maybe starting to become a little out of control.
Who would you recommend to take part in this program?
Well, coming up on February the 29th, we're going to be having a training program that will take place in the morning out at the IMPD Post Road Training Academy at 10th and Post Road. If they're interested in getting in touch with us to participate in that, we'll get more publicity out, but we'd like them to call us at 327-3342 to talk with us about their involvement and how they might become trained to become part of this. They would also have to agree to have their picture taken for their identification and agree to a background criminal history check before we could allow them into the program. But we'll give them 4 hours of training on how they might become part of the community clergy.
And then they can become chaplains at that point? Or
no, they're not going to become chaplains that way. They're going to be part of the community clergy program.
Okay.
To become a chaplain will take a lot more involvement. Currently, we have 2 full-time chaplains with IMPD, and we have right now 11 volunteer chaplains who volunteer up to 24 hours, sometimes more than that, of their time a week to be able to take emergency runs out at these various kind of scenes.
Okay, that's their own personal time.
That's their own personal time.
Okay. Now, can you share with our audience a little bit about yourself? You've been doing this for the past 20 years, correct?
I have been a chaplain with the Indiana State Police for 20 years and a full-time chaplain with the Marion County Sheriff's Department and now IMPD for the last 15 years.
Now, tell me more about, what did you experience? You said you were a volunteer for the first 5 years. What were the biggest challenges during that time?
Just getting in and gaining the trust of the troopers, the state police that I dealt with, so that they knew when they came to see me, that when they had something to talk about that might be of confidential nature, that it would remain confidential.
Okay. Now, is there a seriousness? Because I know that you're dealing with people that may find you offensive, per se, or that might not even want you to be there. How do you deal with those people?
There are occasions, Ivan, that we run into where we come to a particular home where there's a death has occurred, and that family member, because they've had a bad experience in a church someplace, do not want anything to do with the chaplain. And we still have some information to present to them, and we're not there to preach. We're not there to push any brand of religion down their throats. We're very ecumenical. If they don't want to talk to us, we don't have to talk to them, but there is some information that they need that we can help provide.
Now, what have you seen over the past, let's just say 10 years in Indianapolis? Because I notice and I constantly see on the news that there's more crime happening. What have you seen in changes?
I don't know if there's specifically more crime happening, but Ivan, there is, I think, an increase in the amount of violent crimes. That are being committed. There's more home invasions. There are more suicides and more homicides that are taking place in violent means. We just had a stabbing last night of one brother stabbed another brother in terms of a disagreement that they had at home.
Now, what do you attribute these changes to?
Well, I've talked about this several years ago. I think some of it has to do with the drug trade. I think some of it has to do with the violence that we find in some of the video games.
Right. So it's the videos for the kids and the youth.
Violence becomes more accepted.
Right.
And violence is a way of life in the gang community.
That's another issue. Have you seen the big growth in the in crime with the gangs?
I think there has been. There's been an increasing amount of gang traffic, dealing with the gangs and control of some of the drug trafficking in the area.
And the drug trafficking. Now, if our audience would like more information, who would they get in contact with?
They can feel free to call us at the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department Chaplain's Office, 327-3324 or 327-3342.
Okay. Now, Chaplain, can you share with our audience, the people that may be interested in becoming chaplains, what can they expect from participating on that day?
An ordained clergy person who's interested in becoming one of our volunteer chaplains with the Metropolitan Police Department can call us to get an interview with us. We will go through the qualifications to be able to sit down with them. Currently, there's no paid positions, but we are always looking for possible volunteer chaplains. They need to be ordained clergy, accepted in their community, accepted through their ecumenical base, their jurisdiction, whatever faith base that might be. They need to be available with the assistance of their employers to work with us 24 hours a week.
Okay. Well, Chaplain, thank you very much for being on our show.
My pleasure.
We wish you much success.
Thank you very much.
Jeannie, back to you.